Welcome to Spirit Soul Sense, Information for Your Soul, and I am Charisse. And we're going to talk about Greenleaf, Episode 3, Visions and Dreams. So there really was a dream in this episode, which I thought was so interesting. May had this very prophetic sort of dream with Jesus Christ in it, and blood, and a knife, and her ex-husband. Very interesting. I love dreams. I pretend to do some dream interpretation for my friends. I'm always like spot on. May's dream was very interesting. When she told the dream, I thought she was blaming Bishop. Like, her interpretation of the dream was Bishop is the head and they don't have the church anymore, and everything starts at the top. I think I've said this before in one of my other videos. Like, everything starts at the top. And if Bishop is the head of the family, head of the church, and the family no longer has the church, we have to look all the way up to see like what was happening. And when you look at their marriage, they clearly had like secrets in their marriage, secrets in their family. And so like you can see how she got to this dream where, it's in Bishop's hand that everything is his fault. When we get to more in the episode where she is now faced with information about herself that she's, I guess, hasn't really dealt with. I remember like all those episodes where she didn't believe that Mac abused those girls, didn't believe that Mac abused Faith. And I guess maybe hearing it very directly for the first time from someone saying, we believe you knew. Like, we think you knew. And then at the other side of that, I'm thinking, well, if you didn't know, you should have known. I think as a parent, it would be very difficult for me to have my son come and tell me that he was being abused, or have that information come to me and not believe him. Like, the information was brought to the family, right? Faith said it, and then took it back. But at the same time, it's like, kids are kids, and not that kids are gonna lie, but that kids are gonna be afraid. And so I think part of the guilt that May is feeling is that she should have known, and maybe she did know, and pretended, like lied to herself, because this is a family that has a lot of lies, secrets. Lied to herself in order to keep the church going, keep the family going, and then lost her daughter by suicide at the end of it. Very, very tragic, but I think it's a turning point for me. A lot of the experiences that we have in life, negative experiences, I think are an opportunity. I think everything in life is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. And so these negative experiences kind of hit us like a gut punch, and it's like a wake-up call that we need to think about things differently, we need to do things differently, and it's an opportunity for us to change and evolve. And I really think that's what May is. She's already in the process of evolution, right? And so this is like another like push. We're trying to push you. God, the universe is trying to push her just a little bit more to evolution. She has to deal with this. This is one of the biggest things. Her having a baby with Lionel and cheating on Bishop was a big thing. But her daughter dying, her not believing that her daughter was being abused, her like enabling Mac in a way for all those years, has to be eating at her. And we haven't seen her deal with that on the show, and I think now is the time when she's going to be dealing with it. So, I mean, it's sad. I've said this before. I don't think they need the church back. I think these people really need to heal and figure out like what their gifts are. Bishop is always in a tracksuit. He is like sitting with his retirement. He's pretty much okay. He's fighting for this for me. When I really think that they need to come together and figure out like, do we really need to fight for this? I just wish they would have that conversation. So, Kirsten and Jacob seem to be flowing more naturally, even in their disagreements, which I like. I think it's important for couples to be able to disagree in a healthy way. Until it got to her like giving him an ultimatum, like, you either sell the land or you keep me as a wife. I really, really enjoy that Jacob went to his father for counsel. Like, I'm trying to figure out if I'm doing the right thing. I want to make sure my wife is happy, but I also want to make sure that I can share my gifts with the world, and I really feel like I shouldn't sell the land. And his father was like, yeah, like, the issue in your marriage has nothing to do with the land, has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with the house that Carissa wants. It's that she wants the security. She's lost that trust in her husband, and so she really needs him to show his love. Love is an action. Like, in order to show people you love them, you can't just say I love you. You have to like do the things that support that you love them. And I think Jacob really has like fallen off. He's like lost her trust and then not followed up with, actions to get back in her good graces. And like he's just like at this point where he stopped doing bad things, but he hasn't reached over to doing all the things that probably made her fall in love with him. And so it's interesting. I feel like Jacob is really centered right now. Like he's always seeming so calm and he's not spazzing out or anything. And so I think that's great. And I think Carissa is responding positively to that. But at the same time, she needs more. Like she needs more from him. And I think she thinks if they get a new house away from the family, which might be true because the family is, dysfunctional, that they're going to be better off. But it's really a symptom of a bigger problem in that she doesn't really trust him, she doesn't trust the family, and she thinks that this is going to solve their problems. It probably won't. It probably will make her feel more secure for a time being, but it won't last in the long run. I think what needs to happen is changes from Jacob, right? He's the head, and it's so funny. This is a sidebar. I did hear about that Fantasia stuff, and I know like pick me culture and all those things. I think it's so interesting. I think it's so interesting. But anyway, I definitely this is the Christian church, and I'm not Christian, but I understand the value of some family structures having the man as the head of the household who, sacrifices for his family and puts their needs first. I think that's the model that these families follow. It's not a model that works for everyone, but I think it works definitely for Bishop and me. And then it stopped working, which is why she wants to now be the pastor. And for Jacob and Carissa, I think she's always been like a strong personality and she wants to follow his lead. But I think the lack of trust has like got in the way of her like actually taking his lead because she doesn't trust him to lead. And it's like the trust is the biggest factor. So loving her more should develop more trust, which should have her letting him take the lead and her like flowing with him taking the lead. How about we talk about Zora? I mean, I think kids show the dysfunction in a family because it's a lot harder for them to control. And so like you can see Grace's son, right? Dysfunctional. Zora, I don't know what Zora's doing with her life right now. Her pursuing a man she knows to be in trouble. Like he's being mentored by your father, not because he is is on track to be the next president of the United States. No, he's being mentored by your father because he's getting in a lot of trouble. And this is the man you want to pursue. Clearly, she still has some things to learn and go through, which I think is very realistic. I think it would be very odd if she just got like a normal guy. It would be more like I could see her with someone who's like perfect, like her pretending to do everything right, but she's not there either. She's still in this I need external validation. I need people to love me and tell me nice things about myself and make me feel good. And so it makes sense that she is pursuing a man who she has no business with. The little here, touch, smile in your face of that girl who was that boy's girlfriend. Oh my gosh. Zora is very open to things, I think. She's the one who introduced Sophia to drugs. She's the one who was like skipping Bible study and skipping, like doing all these like inappropriate things. So I definitely see her being open to a relationship with a woman. Who knows? Like, I think sexuality is such a fluid thing. It's on a spectrum that she might not even be like completely straight. She might be in the middle and hadn't considered it before. I think a lot of times when folks grow up in the church and they're told that straights and partnering with the opposite sex is the only way to be, you don't even like consider or entertain thoughts of someone else. Kind of like what Charity's husband did, right? So I think I mean, Zora may benefit from that. She might learn some real good things about herself. Not that she needs to be with somebody who's in a relationship with somebody else, but that it would be definitely okay for her to explore. I'm attracted to this woman. I may be attracted to women. Maybe I can explore that about myself, and let's just like learn things about yourself. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with like self-exploration and trying out different things to see if it works for you. I think a lot of people, a lot of us, right? We try to live our lives in this box of doing everything right, and what will society think, what will, my neighbor think, or what will my mother's friend think, or like all these things we think about. And it's really like, people are gonna think whatever they want. They're not gonna approve anyway. I think a lot of people in the Christian community think they're like judge and jury for folks, and want to act like their version of Jesus, the Savior, in that they're going to enforce the law of the Bible. I'm just like, I don't have time for that. I just don't have time for that. So I am 100% on board for Zora exploring her sexuality. I think maybe not with this girl. Maybe you could just be friends with her and she could like introduce you to a different world. But the whole mix up of like dating someone who's dating someone else, like, and they're like in a serious relationship, I would like stay away from. But Zora's young. This is the learning years, so I think it's like fine. I think it's fine. Somebody who still seems to be in their learning years is Charity. Charity is so like, she's supposed to be so grown and so mature. Phil telling her to grow up, I was like, yeah, I think that's what her family tells her too. Like, everything is not about you, and you don't have to be the act like the baby. She is the baby, but she's not the baby. She's not the youngest. She doesn't have to keep acting like the world is over, or this whiny brat, like I'm not getting what I want and I don't want to do this. Part of adulthood is kind of doing things we don't want to do. Like part of navigating the space of paying bills and being respectful to others and working with people we don't like is doing things we don't want to do. Your maturity level says how well you're able to do that. And I'm just must say a prayer for this character, Charity, because I just don't see things ending well for her. And I think before this season is over, we're going to see like another spike of behavior from her, or breakdown, right? Because she's still like in this space where she doesn't feel good about herself. She still needs all this external validation. How come we never see the baby? I want to see her and the baby. Is the baby with her husband? Like her ex-husband? Is the baby with her ex-husband? Like what is... Because we saw the baby in the picture with Aaron when Grace went by him. I need to see her on the baby more, because I don't know if she's really well. I don't know. Charity needs some help. I think Charity needs to go to therapy, ongoing regular therapy, individual and group. I really think she needs like more like positive energy, like encouraging her to like be herself and do what she wants to do. And why does she want to pastor so bad? Because she thinks it's going to get her the external validation that she wants. I agree with Bishop. I don't think pastoring is her calling. I think music is definitely one of the things that she was called to do. Why she doesn't want to do that, I don't know. Maybe she like associated it negatively after that incident with Jabari. I don't know. I'm just like, Charity, we are too grown for this. Please just stop. And Grace. I don't feel bad for Grace. I mean, I respect Grace's character. I think, when she first was introduced to us, she seemed like the prodigal daughter, the wise one, like the one who like got away from the drama of her family. But really, she is a big part of the drama in the family. So Grace just showing up, inappropriate to just show up at her biological son's halfway house to come back into his life, to apologize. That's very selfish. It's very selfish. It's a disrespect of his boundaries, because he asked her for money. and she said she would give money. And like he said, the first encounter that they had, I thought was very appropriate on his part. You do not get to introduce yourself back into my life unless it's on my terms. You cast me aside when I was born. When I tried to find you when I was of age, 18, you didn't want me to be a part of your life because you had this new daughter and you weren't ready to deal with your secrets. You still wanted to continue your bad behavior. You just don't get to show up. I thought that was so disrespectful. I'm like, you are so wrong, Grace. You're so wrong. Like, inappropriate. He tells her to go, and I really think she should have gone. I think she should have sent him money and then asked him, how would it be if I came back into your life? Like, what way do you think we should navigate this? Do you think we should introduce like a counselor, a clergy person, or some like, I'm just so fed up with Grace. She's in process, right? Look, we're all in process. The issue is that Grace has acted very holier than thou for so many people. With Mac, with her mother, she's just done so much. And I'm just like, I get the intention, right? I want to do right now. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so glad she apologized to him. I'm sorry for what I did. But it needs to be on his terms. And that's like for anyone. If you would like to reintroduce yourself to someone's life, you have to make sure that they're okay with it and that they're okay with how you do it. It can't just be whatever it is you want. She may not know this, but like promising AJ that she's gonna stay until he finds an apartment is not a promise she should make unless she's able to keep it. And she knows that she has all these responsibilities back at the church, back home. I think it's inappropriate. I know it's inappropriate that she made the promise. I think she had the best intentions when she promised him that she would help him find an apartment, but she shouldn't have made the promise because clearly he has like a lot of issues related to attachment, and he wants her there, but he doesn't really want her all the way there. So when she now tells him, and the whole time they were interacting, I was looking for every time she touched him. So like in the beginning when she got there, she wasn't touching him at all. And she didn't touch him until she was delivering bad news. And I'm like, not the best time to touch him. And you don't know his whole history, but considering that he told you that he's been stealing to eat, you know it's just not good. Like, it's not good. Don't touch him. Like, don't touch him. So telling him that she's not going to be able to stay after she promised she was going to stay, it's just like confirmation from him that she ain't shit and she's gonna keep doing this and it's not gonna get better. And so every negative thing that he's been thinking about himself comes up again, right? He's not worthy, he doesn't deserve her, he doesn't deserve a nice family or a mother. And like, it's like so sad, like his experience of all of this, Grace just keeps disappointing him. So at the end, when Grace is like, come home, okay, Grace. So we're ready to tell our family the truth. That's a beautiful thing. We're ready to tell the church the truth. That's a beautiful thing. And that's what I would love to see for Grace. And I don't want her to like flounder with it. Just do it. Like do it. Like walk the talk. Like this is what you've been telling people, like tell the truth, do the right thing. I want to see Grace do it. I think it's really going to help her grow. Is Noah coming back? Who else are we missing? What about that guy? I know. And I saw another interview with the actor where she said the guy she was dating who doesn't go to church is going to be coming back. I'm curious about that. When are we going to see him? Because that was a mess too. Oh, it's a mess. I love the drama of it all. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Thank you for watching.